Welcome to Let's Talk Kashrus. We are privileged to be joined today by Rabbi Tzvi Haber, Director of Community Kashrus at the COR Kashrus Council of Canada. Thank you, Rabbi Haber, for joining us.
It's a great pleasure, Rabbi
Really
Hisiger.
appreciate it. So I'm very excited to talk about today's topic, raising the bar and keeping higher standards at our simchas. And our viewers will understand what I mean by raising the bar. We're talking specifically about bars at simchos, at events. There are many pitfalls. Start off with, let's say, a story from the trenches, something that has happened relating to bars at events.
I have to tell you about a story that happened very recently. Actually, it was in the last couple of weeks. There is a banquet hall owner in Toronto. He doesn't directly have certification from the COR, but a lot of the caterers love using his banquet hall. It's a beautiful banquet hall. And unfortunately, at the last event that we had done prior to Pesach, there was some mistreatment of a mashgiach by his staff. So we decided as a kashrus agency, even though he's not a client of ours directly, that we would have to call him into the office and talk to him, find out if this could reoccur. Otherwise, we weren't going to continue allowing our caterers to do events at that banquet hall. So we called him in, we said hello, introduced ourselves, got him talking a little bit, and we were going to discuss how to treat a mashgiach and what we expect from his staff. But during the conversation, it came out that this banquet hall owner, whose last name is Mora, actually is Jewish. And that created a whole different dynamic to the conversation. I thought that the name Mora is an Italian name, but he explained to me that while his father was Italian, his mother was Jewish, and that made him Jewish. And he was telling me that he's involved with this organization called Birthright, and he gives money to the state of Israel, and all those things. And I realized that we have other problems that we have to deal with, like Tfilas Kelim and Chametz Avolav Pesach.
Because he's Jewish.
Because he's Jewish. If he's not Jewish, so then we can use the glasses at a banquet hall. I'm not sure if people are aware, but kashrus agencies, when they go into an event in a hotel, they use the glasses from the banquet hall. So if we're using the glasses from the banquet hall, if he's not Jewish, there's no issue of tefillah. But if he's Jewish, then we have to toivel those glasses before we allow them, before we use them.
And with someone like that, a caterer like that who's Jewish, would they actually allow you to pick up the glasses, take them to a mikveh, toivel them, and bring them back? Probably not.
Not shaykh. It's not possible. He doesn't even know what tefillas kelim is. He's never heard of a mikveh before. So that's not going to be possible. People find it hard to believe that we would allow glasses, even glasses, to be used. They're not kosher. How do we allow them to be used for a kosher event? So the emes is that the Shulchan Aruch holds that glasses are not don't absorb any blias. They don't have anything non-kosher, and then you can use them for a kosher, for anything kosher. However, the Ramah in Hilchos Pesach is machmir, and he holds that glasses do absorb. However, our poskim feel, and this I think is the minhag of all of kashrus agencies across the board, that feel that for cold drinks you're allowed to use glasses.
So I think this is the first revelation for our viewers here, that really events that we go to, we may actually be using the glasses from the banquet hall, the event venue, and that's halachically permissible according to...
That's correct. That's correct. However, in this scenario, it's not halachically permissible, because he's a Jew, and there's a chiyuv tevilah, there's an obligation to toivel. So this is the dilemma that we were dealing with at the table. Mm-hmm. Now, there are eitzas. There's an eitzah in Shas Adchak, like for example, if somebody has a kli that he wants to use on Erev Shabbos, there's no time to go to the mikvah. If you live in a city that there is no mikvah, so you sell the kli to a goy. And once that kli belongs to a goy, there's no problem anymore using it, because a goy is not chayiv in tefillah. However, that's a very short-term eitzah in this scenario, because you're going to sell the glasses for this particular event. But what are you going to do the next event? You're going to continue selling the glasses? Maybe he's going to buy more glasses in between. So how do you know? You're not locking them up. They're his glasses, using them for non-kosher events. So it's difficult. You have to organize this in a way that the caterer is going to be bringing his own glasses or renting his glasses. So that becomes a challenge.
It's interesting, when we discussed the idea that we're going to talk about bars, I didn't expect for us to speak about Tfilas Kelim, honestly, but now that you mentioned it, how about where someone goes to a hotel lobby, they go out on a date, they go to a different venue like that, do they have to be concerned, besides for what we'll get into, the kashrus of the spirits themselves and things like that? How about the issue of tefillah in that circumstance?
100%. If you know that the hotel is owned by a Jewish person, there's a chiyuv tefillah. You're not supposed to drink from kelim that are not toivled. I don't know how usual it is for a hotel or a lounge to be owned by a Jew, or for that fact to be known. There happens to be in Toronto, there is one hotel that is owned by a Jewish person, but it's probably not the norm, and probably al pi din, you don't have to be choishish unless you otherwise know that. But it is something for people to just be aware of. You can't drink from kelim that are not toivled.
So you mentioned there's a heter regarding tefillah, what to do b'shas adchak. How about the other issue of chametz shavalav Pesach? What did you do in that situation?
Right, because it's a bar, and many alcoholic beverages are chametz, so there's a problem now. What are we going to do? It's immediately after Pesach, and there's an event scheduled, or there's one that's supposed to take place, and the owner of the bar, typically, you may not know this, but the caterer doesn't supply the bar. If you made a simcha before, you may know that the bar is part of the package with the venue. And the venue, the banquet hall owner, is the one that's providing the bar. So now he owns all of the drinks, and he's serving you the drinks, and if he had any storage during Pesach, that's going to be a problem of chametz shalava of Pesach. In this particular story, it didn't end up being a problem because his business model is he doesn't stock the bar. He just does a specific order for the event that's taking place. You get to order any types of drinks you want, and he goes to the LCBO, which is the government-owned liquor control stores that are run in Canada, in Ontario at least, that sell the liquor. So that's obviously government-owned. It's not a problem to buy from there. So he was able to just say, I'm not going to use anything that's open. Anyway, your mashgiachim don't let us use anything that's open from before Pesach, and I'm only going to use brand new bottles. And the mashgiach would ask him for an invoice that the date was clear, that it was purchased after Pesach of Tafshin Pei Beis.
So I guess this Mr. Mora really taught you a lesson in how careful one has to be and not assuming